Did you know there are some autistic traits that are also common in the ADHD and ADD community? Today, we're going to dive into 21 traits that autistics share with ADHDers, ADDers, also known as AUDHDers. Hey, Define Yourselfer. I am Chris Mitchell, the Confident Autistic. I'm a late diagnosed autistic adult and a multi certified life coach who serves and advocates for the adult autism community. Here on my YouTube channel, I share videos that will educate and empower the adult autism community and our allies. Now, today I decided to talk about the 21 traits that autistics share with ADHDers, ADDers, also known as AUDHDers, because October is ADHD Awareness and Acceptance Month. So I thought this would be the perfect time to celebrate what we have in common with our neurodiverse brothers and sisters who are have ADD or ADHD. So let's get started. Stimming and fidgeting. Both ADDers, ADHDers, and autistics do fidget or stim. In the autism world, we call it stimming. In ADHD, ADD, they probably call it fidgeting. Both experience sensory differences. In the autism world, we have sensory overload, sensory issues, and in the ADHD world, ADD, the same. They have some sensory issues, but I don't think to the degree that people on the autism spectrum have sensory issues. Both groups experience hyperfixation. ADD, ADHD, autism, all three can become hyperfixated on an interest or topic that's very interesting to them. ADD, ADHDers, autistics also have trouble interrupting. We're the rude people. We are the rude people that will interrupt another person when they're talking. They're talking about something, and bam, they have to jump in and say something. Both groups, ADHDers and autistics, struggle with insomnia. Both have trouble going to sleep. And that can be for various reasons, including can't slow down the thoughts in their minds. And they can't just quiet that down enough to go to sleep at night. ADHDers and autistics struggle with restlessness. We get restless. We can't sit still. And that's often because it's more, I think, associated with ADD, ADHD, why some people may have been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, or suspect to have ADD, ADHD instead of autism. But truth is, both camps do struggle with restlessness. Both groups also struggle with and have difficulty with friendships. ADD, ADHDers may have trouble with friendships or keeping friendships because of their hyperactivity, impulsivity, and behavior, and where autistics may struggle with friendships because for us who are autistic, like myself, we don't understand friendships. Creating friendships is hard. Navigating the world of all those subtle cues in a friendship, we don't get. We don't know. We have to script all this other stuff. It's very complex. Now, here's a good trait. At least I call it a good trait. I think it's one of the better traits that both camps have, ADHDers and autistics. We are creative. Some of the most creative people I've ever interacted with have fallen in the neurodiverse camp, whether that be ADD, ADHD, autism, epilepsy, bipolar, whatever. I found the most creative people, this is my own opinion, I don't have any scientific fact on it, people who are neurodiverse, I think, are more creative than those that are neurotypical. But that's just my opinion. Both groups have trouble with impulse control difficulties. Although there's a little bit more seen, I think, on the ADD, ADHD side, because like impulse buying and all, I think in the autism camp is more that we have impulse issues in how to react to things. And we sometimes take things literally, get our feelings hurt. We impulsively react. We tell somebody off over a small misunderstanding. This is why we struggle with friendship, because we burn some bridges unintentionally. And so therefore, both camps do struggle with impulse control. Both camps also struggle with emotional regulation difficulties. Now, obviously, we talked about this on the autism side. Emotional regulation is a big challenge for us. I think it's more of a challenge on the autistic side than it is on the ADHD side. But we both struggle with regulating our emotions and managing them and controlling them instead of letting our emotions get the best of us. Sadly, both camps, ADHDers, ADDers, and autistics, have a higher rates of substance abuse, suicidal tendencies, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, bipolar, and OCD. If you are enjoying the content of my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. When you subscribe, do not forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live. Remember, Autistics help autistics. Your likes and shares will help our channel reach more autistic adults. Both ADHDers and autistics experience neurodiverse communication patterns, including info dumping, connecting over shared interests, and story swapping. Some of us are really great. We do the info dumping, and which can drive people off the wall. When we talk about our favorite topic so long, people are like, look at the time, I got to go, and they start avoiding you. And a story swapping or shared interest. We find somebody has a shared interest, we can lose ourselves in a conversation, whether you're on the ADD or ADHD side. I think the autistic side is a little stronger in this than the ADHD side, but I do believe both sides have it. And story swapping. I think that does exist. People get into a groove of, oh, let me tell you about my trip to the lake. Let me tell you about my trip to the city last weekend. Those type of things are swapping stories and they really connect. I think, at least in my experience and observing and being part of the autism community and the and looking into the ADHD community, I think there's more of an exception than a rule about the story swapping uh, aspect of it. But I do know uh, that info dumping is something that is, from what I understand, very common in the autistic community, and connecting over shared interests. I can see that being something in the autistic community, but a challenge to doing that is our social or uncomfortableness with social interactions with other people, whether they be autistics or even other autistics. Plus, autistics who struggle with neurodiverse communication patterns, which may make it difficult for us to interact with other autistics or allistics, often makes us want to kind of retreat and lead us to a point where we prefer the social isolation because the world, and I love this expression, and I've seen it on a t-shirt. I'll love to get a t-shirt with it on it. The world can be too peoply at times. Both camps struggle with executive function difficulties. Now, this is really prevalent in the autism side of the groups, of the two groups, in the autistic group. At least I see it more talked about in the autistic side of the group, that we have executive functioning difficulties. But both groups can have trouble with executive functioning. And I'll be doing a video later, or depending on when you watch it, it's already been done. And if it has, I've updated the show notes, video description. I know what I'm talking about. Video description with a link to it. But I'm going to be doing a adult autism 101 video on what executive functioning is. So be looking for that on my YouTube channel. Both ADHDers and ADDers experience divergent thought patterns. Divergent thought patterns are a creative way of thinking, and we will go into a deeper dive into this topic on a different video in the Adult Autism 101 series right here on this YouTube channel. Both camps, ADHDers and autistics, have special interests and passions. For ADDers and ADHDers, a special interest is a topic or activity that fascinates or captivates a person with ADD or ADHD. A special interest in the autism community is defined as having an immense focus on a specific topic or area of interest. And this could be anything. I mean, it could be cars, it could be a TV program, it could be anything practically. And we're going to go into a deeper dive on this on a future video here on the channel. Both ADHDers and autistics experience difficulty switching between tasks. ADDers and ADHDers may have trouble switching between tasks for several reasons, including executive function, hyperfocus, neurotransmitter interference, and emotional transitions. For those of us on the autism spectrum, we may have trouble or struggle switching between activities for many reasons, including cognitive flexibility, executive functioning, anxiety, sensory sensitivities, communication skills, restrictive behaviors, and difficulty sequencing information. Now, we're going to go into a deeper dive on this in a different episode or video on my channel, so be looking for that. ADHDers and autistics both experiment and experience neurodivergent masking. Again, this is a topic we're going into a deeper dive in another video on this series, Adult Autism 101. But a brief overview means we try to hide our ADHD, ADD, or autistic traits or characteristics, such as stimming, or other behaviors, and mask them, which what means hiding them from others so they don't stand out, they're not visible, and we fit in better. So we both do that. It's not a healthy thing to do, and I do advocate for people in especially the autistic community, but the same would go for people in the ADD ADHD community. Take off the mask, be your authentic self. If somebody does not like you for who you are, that's fine. There's other people out there, but just be you. Both ADHDers and autistics have difficulties with eye contact. Now, this has generally been considered a stereotypical behavior more in autistics than anyone else. But yes, ADHDers have trouble eye contact. And I think for ADHDers, ADDers, the trouble is I have to focus. And with the hyperactivity and the attention deficit, I can't focus that long and looking. And people with ADD, ADHD have that squirrel activity. Like they have squirrel moments all the time. ADDers and ADHDers and autistics have experienced social differences. We interact with people differently. We struggle in social situations. Both camps do. Sadly, both groups are at risk of being victimization, of being victims of cruelty and crimes, and some can be very violent crimes. And that's very unfortunate that there are people in our society who see ADHD, ADD, or autism as a weakness and will take advantage of that person. It can range from anything by being a fake friend and then hurting you to being as graphic as physical unlawful violence, including mental abuse, physical abuse, assault. The list could go on, but I don't want to do any triggers that could upset anyone. And finally, both ADHDers and autistics experience focusing on passions. Whatever we're really interested in, we're focused in. We're laser focused in on it. Now it is your turn. Share your thoughts and any traits I may have missed by commenting on this video, or comment with any topic you would like me to cover in a future video. I want you to know that I do read each and every comment posted on this channel. Until the next video, start living your confident autistic life now by getting 31 affirmations for your confident autistic life, a free resource available at my website, theconfidentautistic.com. Grab it now and start living your confident autistic life now.